Shalom, people. This is Brother Laos coming at you with another video. And I was just watching the 100-meter race that recently transpired at the Prefontaine Classic, in which Sha'Carri Richardson, who was not able to run in the Olympics because she tested positive for marijuana, the race where she was going to be racing against Shirley Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson, and Sharika Jackson, one of those two. The one Jamaica team, women's team that won gold, silver, and bronze in the past Olympics in Tokyo. And it was a very anticipated race because a lot of people thought that the Olympics was Sha'Carri Richardson's to lose before she tested positive. But looking at the race, it was obvious that her coming straight out of college and going into the Olympics, if she would have went after, I didn't really watch the Olympics that much. I actually watched a lot of the replays of what, the highlights, different things, but overall I wasn't following it, as I did in years past. But anyway, I really doubt if she had even went, if she might have even made it to the finals. When I seen I can't think of his name, Tremel, I can't think of his name. He was a comeback for the 100-meter dash for the American men. Tremel, whatever his last name is, and everybody thought that the 100-meter men's was his to lose because he was running all these incredible times, and I don't think he even made it to the finals. I just don't know how she would have done after seeing it and knowing how the Jamaicans run anyway. But the competition is really fierce between Black Americans and Black Caribbeans, Jamaican, Trinidadian, whatever it is, and some in the in Central and South America. The competition seems to be very fierce, almost to the point of a hatred. And I began to think about the fact that out of the 12 brothers of 12 sons of Jacob, the 12 brothers, some who were half and full, that we see this great athletic prowess that we had inherited from them. If you read some of the pseudo-apocryphal books and believe some of it that was in there about how the sons of Jacob had different battles and fights against the Hamitic tribes while they were in Canaan, which I can kind of believe that when you look at what Simeon and Levi did to that one city, Shechem. They had raped their sister Dinah, and they put every man in the city to the edge of the sword. Now, grant, some people say, well, they did circumcise the men, so the men probably would have been weak, but still the fact that they was able to put that whole city to the sword, two brothers, that, and also the fact of Jacob being not, people misunderstood when they said, okay, Esau was a man of the field and Jacob was a man of the tent, that Jacob never ventured out and hunted and did every other thing that Esau did. It's just that Jacob's, whatever, it seems like whatever Jacob did was with a purpose, but that also he had some kind of supernatural, I believe, abilities that the Most High had given him. When you look at the fact that he wrestled all night with the Almighty, he wrestled. Not that the Almighty couldn't have broke free from Jacob, but that he had enough intestinal fortitude and drive to say, I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me. And understand what Jacob was thinking. Jacob was thinking that he was wrestling against his brother Esau. That's why he said, I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me, because he understood, because his mother had gotten him to steal the blessing, that he still had that fear of Esau. He still had that fear that Esau was gonna look at him as being a cheat, a crook. And so when he wrestled, he was wrestling for respectability. And he said, I'm not gonna let you go. But I think it became patently clear to him that as it broke during the daylight, and when the Almighty, in the form of an angel, put his finger on his thigh bone and put it out, and that the thigh was the sacred part to the people of Israel at that time. It was the shank. It was holy. And in fact, when Jacob was on his deathbed, he had, I forgot which son it was that was talking to him. He had the son put his hand under that thigh as he talked to him. I guess it was some kind of form of passing something on. I'm believing some supernatural contact that Jacob had with the Almighty several times in his life. When he was running from Esau, he was running from Esau, and he lighted on the Bible says, a certain place in Bethel, and he laid his head on the rock. That's why you know it was us, because he had that fro going. He laid his head on that rock, and he was so tired from running to get away from Esau. He laid his head on there, and he seen the angels ascending and descending. And then right before he wrestled with the angel, when he was coming back to see his father Isaac, and his mother had passed on, but when he was on his way, the Bible said he seen a company of angels going before him, his family, when he had divided the group up between Leah and Rachel. He seen a company of angels. And it seems like this supernatural ability, power, and determination has, in physical prowess and spiritual prowess, has been passed down to us, Jamaican, Black American, Black Trinidadian, whoever, the descendants of Jacob, and that we have this great drive and motivation that they've chosen to pit us against each other, whether it's in sports where we're always competing against each other, boxing against each other, in religion where you have Methodist against Baptist, Hebrew against camp, that all these great abilities that we inherited from our forefather Jacob and Leah and Rachel, whichever tribe you were from, the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom, whatever those different tribes that made up, that we inherited it is, and it's not really being a blessing overall to us, maybe individually, where you or for a country now, but I'm saying for us as black people, as Hebrew people, these things that should be a blessing and that we should celebrate with one another is causes great animosity and hatred amongst each other when you see one that can run faster than you, one that can jump higher than you, one denomination against another denomination, one camp against another camp, one assembly against another assembly, one teacher against another teacher, that this division amongst us has to come to an end one day soon, I pray, because this paradigm that we are in, they're making us think that this thing is gonna last always, but we gotta stop thinking. We gotta stop thinking about what nation we're part of. We gotta stop thinking about what language that we are in, and wherever our people are at, wherever, we gotta stop being able to celebrate victories above and beyond the borders that they put on us, because what I've been seeing in the last couple of days is this big push by the powers that be to push the black Jamaicans against the black Americans, or even before that, the stuff that was happening over in Africa, with the fact that the Jamaicans and the Caribbean people do have a little bit more credibility amongst the African people because of the war that was fought over there in Ethiopia, when Haile Selassie called for help, and a lot of Jamaicans and people from the Caribbean went over there and helped them fight against the Italians. But we as black Americans, the United States government would not allow black Americans, would not provide them with visas. I'm not saying that some black Americans didn't get over there, but for the most part, you didn't hear it. You heard that the people in the islands, so that they have a little bit more credibility even when it comes to being able to get into certain African nations, and even having certain lands that have been up there grasped for them for decades, right? That they're trying to keep this thing going, but the trifecta has to come together of blacks in North America, blacks in the islands, blacks in Africa, the 12 tribes, the brothers, the descendants of those 12 brothers. We must come back together, and we can't let these sports competitions that they have us competing against each other. We can't have these denominationalism with Trinitarians and monotheists and all these other kind of stuff, where we are coming at each other. And that's not to say that we accept false teachings or false doctrines or whatever, but I would just say that a lot of these things that we still hold on to, even the sports thing, because the sports thing, when you look in the book of Maccabees, was kind of really introduced to our people back then in the time of the Maccabees, which is why they had the Maccabean revolt in the first place, because the people was concentrating so much on sports. But now with this CV and all this other stuff going on, I really believe that the Most High is going to start dialing us back so much on this concentration on sports. He's going to start dialing us back, I believe, so much on denominationalism when things get so bad and you see another black face. It's like y'all's going to have to do that. He's going to, if things get so hard and you see another black face and you know, you might be in need of some help. You might be in need of some water, some food. Are you going to ask them, hey, are you a Trinitarian? Are you a oneness? Hey, do you support the Jamaican track team? Do you support the American black track team? No. We're going to have, the sons of Jacob are going to have to come back together. I can imagine almost, the Bible talks about the great cloud of witnesses that are, and some people don't believe it, you know, and if it's not, so be it. But what if the fact that the 12 brothers, if it's somehow that the Most High could bless them to look down on the earth and look at all their descendants in a panoramic view, and they could see, hey, you know, those group of people over there, those my descendants, man. Look how, you know, smart they are. Look how athletic they are, or whatever. Would they be looking at that? I believe that if that was possible, and if it's so, that the Most High would let the 12 brothers, from which we all as black people descended from, or the 12 tribes, if they could look down on us and see all this infighting, would they probably be up in heaven weeping now and just very, you know, disappointed in the fact that, look at that, you Jamaican people, that's my descendants, they're looking at my brothers and sisters, my brothers' descendants here in America going against those here in Jamaica, and the thing that we had going on back then at that time, that we're still going at it with, and the fact that our descendants are doing that, would they be very disappointed in us? I believe so. I believe that they would say, hey, let's come together. Let's not waste this great, you know, athletic prowess that we have, you know, doing some of these things that we're doing, that's, you know, bringing up controversy or whatever, where we might could just build our own sports team, you know, and it will be us against everybody else. But we aren't like that. They got us divided up by nation, by teams, by whatever shoe you wear, whatever, and we're constantly going at it against each other. The denominationalism, you know, Baptist, Methodist, Hebrew camp, and they look down now. I really believe they will be, you know, kind of trouble in the fact that, hey, aren't we seeing the need to try to come together? But the powers that be are going to push the division between us as long as they can. And sports is one of the ways they're going to do it. Religion is going to be another. Education is going to be another. And I'm here to say that we need to be very prayerful that the Most High can help us to start breaking down these barriers. And I'm not saying that, you know, that there's always angst between in religion between blacks, or angst in sports, always, but for the most part it is. I can even think about like I said, the fact that 1, 2, 3 in the Olympics, the Jamaican team did so well. And I was, when I heard about it, you know, I was happy. I was like, America, yes, it is. I wish we'd have did better, but at least some of our people, even if they wasn't of this nation, they won the top 3 for the women. Now for the men, I think it was for the men's 100-meter dash. I think it was a black guy, but he was from Italy. I don't know if what I think he was a Hebrew. I think he was a Hebrew descent. I don't know sure, but for the most part, like I said, we gotta try to come together. We can't let these things like sports teams and all this stuff divide us. Yeah, keep playing your sports and make your money if that's your livelihood and everything. But I've heard some guys say, black guys say, on the other teams, right? When we playing against those other teams, and I'm lining up against one of my brothers or whatever, it's my job to inflict the maximum punishment on the opposing team. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about two career-ending hits, or at least messing them up. And why you think we have so much CTI and got so many of our, and not just in football, but sometime in basketball, if they bang heads or whatever, and our young men or young women, whatever, that injure themselves or whatever, when they're done with running for that country or running for that team or whatever, they got to come back to the black people as a whole, right? And that's why I'm saying that's not playing to the hoopla stuff. I know they want us to do that hoopla where it's like, we're gonna dust, and I understand about friendly competition, where you got brag. That's just the way we are as black people. But I think really in the time that we're in now, we're gonna have to start coming together and depending on each other. I think we need to dial it back a little bit on some of this hoopla in sports and religion and a lot of other things, because we're gonna need each other. And ultimately, like I said, I think our forefathers, the 12 tribes, if they could speak to us individually, wherever we're at, and say, look, that really don't matter. Yeah, you got there, and that's your job to run, and that's how you feed your family. Yes, but when you get through running, let your brother and let your sister know, hey, look, we all are kin. But of course, we know that the old saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and we understand that. But overall, we're saying those that don't show themselves to be detrimental to the nation or to you as an individual, if they come in with something positive, right? That's embrace that, right? One of the things that my dad used to say, and I'm gonna end this video, is he said, son, I used, I would, see these 2 white lawyers, battling out in court, over a case, and then he said, when the court case is over, he said those 2 white lawyers would go to the bar and have a drink and discuss the case like it was nothing. And a lot of times they make plea deals and bargains and stuff just like that because they know where to cap it at. But we as black people, as Hebrew people, when it comes to this competition thing in sports and with the religion and stuff, we don't know where to cut it off at. We go for the jugular. And so I'm saying in the times that we're living in, where y'all is trying to bring the two sticks back together, we're gonna have to try to dial that back. And this stuff that's going on with the Shakira Richardson, and all these tweets and all this stuff where they're going at each other. You know, listen Jamaicans, listen Trinidadians, listen people from Guyana and French. That's cool. Those over there in Africa, where you, on the continent, where some of our Black Americans have gone, and people from the island, and they're bumping heads because they're saying that we as black people are bringing our drama from America, bringing our drama over there. Hey, let's all try to come up higher, because the Most High is going to make this thing happen with you or without you. So with that, I would tell you to leave a comment. I tell you to subscribe to this channel, and I tell you to give it a thumbs up. Be blessed.